What's going on, you guys? We are back once again, and this is about The Handmaid's Tale. Now, I do not do this video to fearmonger or anything like that, but you cannot ignore the parallels from the TV slash novel and the current climate in the United States today. It says Handmaid's Tale eerie parallels with Trump's policy as viewers return to Gilead. The article writer is DuBois, and the page is Express US. It says the final season of The Handmaid's Tale dropped on Hulu, but viewers are starting to notice some eerie parallels between the show based on Margaret Ashwood's novel and the real world outside of their screens. As the great concerns continue to emerge about the Trump administration and its policies, to the show, which deals with life in a dystopian society, was something fans thought had ended, but now it is officially back with its final season. However, the show, which has always had bizarre parallels to the real world, may be more reflective of the current United States environment than ever before, and fans are likely to notice as they watch. Okay? Overall, the show's premise deals with the totalitarian society known as Gilead, which used to be part of the United States. In the society, women are property of the state, and a plummeting birth rate and environmental disasters sees the few remaining fertile women forced into sex servitude. The show, which debuted shortly after Trump's first term as president began, has long been compared to his policies. Here are some of the ways the show appears to imitate real life. Okay? Rolling back of women's rights. In the show, women were forced into sex slavery after a group of ultra-rich, conservative, extremely religious white men took over U.S. government and disenfranchised women, non-Protestants, gay people, and people of color. Women who are handmaids are required to sleep with the men who own them, with the sole purpose of producing children. Abortion is also illegal and have no autonomy over their own bodies, The overall concept is one that is very familiar to women around the United States. After Trump's first term saw himself install 3 conservative justices on the Supreme Court: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. These justices and the other conservative members who have the majority officially rolled back Roe versus Wade, which gave women in the federal right to abortion in 2022, giving the states the ability to determine its legality. Since then, according to the Center of Reproductive Rights, abortions have been made completely illegal in 12 states, is a hostile environment in 11 others, which typically enforce a ban after 6 weeks and not protected in these 3 others. 12 states do not have protection in place, and 11 have expanded access. In addition to bans on abortion, access to protective health services have also been restricted, and as a result of the ban, studies have shown that maternal mortality rates have risen dramatically in states with more restrictions. A border crisis. In the show, Gilead is known for harshly punishing anyone who attempts to cross the border and escape to either Mexico or Canada, and many have been quick to draw parallels to the border crisis that has been a hallmark of both the Trump's times in office. During his first terms, the Mexican border was the site of imprisoned refugees who were ordered to remain in Mexico even if they were coming from other countries, and solve the separations of families. His second term has seen an even more aggressive stance on immigration and seen several challenges to policies enacted, including attempts to overturn the Constitution of birthrights, citizenship, and the Supreme Court's approval of invoking the Alien Enemies Act. The administration has also come under fire for deporting plainfields planefuls of Venezuelans and others to El Salvador prison without giving due process, and has mistakenly included the deportation of those in the United States illegally with no known attempts to bring them back. Oppression of the LGBTQ plus people. Another target of Trump's policies have been the LGBTQ plus community, specifically the trans community, which has been the subject of a series of executive orders Trump has signed. Among the orders have been ones barring trans women and girls from participating in women's sports, restricting information about trans health issues online, and restricting gender-affirming care, as well as stating the U.S. only recognized two sexes, male and female. There have also been attempts to once again ban transgender services members from serving in the military. And that is the end of the article, but the list goes on and on. You know, I was late to the party. I confess, I was late to the party in terms of watching The Handmaid's Tale. You know, even though it was widely watched and people was like, "Hey, you should watch it. You should watch it." You know, I was kind of late to the party. Guilty. But I do see a lot of parallels in terms of, you know, The Handmaid's Tale and the current administration. It is definitely ultra conservative, you know, God fearing, love country, love liberty, but it's, for me, in my opinion, a bastardized version of what the administration is pushing. Like, it's, you love your country, but you want to restrict people's rights. You want to have people have the right to the Second Amendment, you know, in the First Amendment, but only if it makes the administration look good, only if it's people that look like the administration, you know, deserves it. You know, one of the many red flags was the birth rights citizenship. And I don't think people really take account in what that actually means. If he's able to get rid of that somehow, or they're able to get rid of that somehow, everyone that lives in this country, birthrights will be in jeopardy. Not only that, in addition, as far as the case you may have heard about the man from Maryland who was wrongly deported, who had asylum here, who fled from El Salvador and was basically kidnapped and put on a plane and sent back to El Salvador. You know, in court, the administration, the DOJ, basically tried to argue, well, you know, this is not just deportation, you know, for illegals. You know, Trump has said in one of his presses that he did when he was literally sitting in the White House, and said, we're looking into how to deport U.S. citizens. Deport them where? Like, no, like, side note, not even talking about immigrants, like actual U.S. citizens. And I don't think that people really understand that, because just like the DEI thing, people really didn't care about DEI. And I have always said that people who voted for this administration turned around and cut off their nose despite their face, because a lot of them didn't even know that they were DEI. You know, the vice president, or the stand-in vice president of the show, uh, JD Vance, he benefited from DEI. Like, he literally crawled up the ladder, went to Princeton, crawled up the ladder, and then snatched the ladder from when he got to the top. You know, it's so many things that I can go into in this article, but on this video, but I mean, that's not even scratching the surface of it. It's not, don't, think it's all about illegals and things like this, which, people should be cool with them being here, because nobody's going to do the jobs. And how are they taking the jobs? How are they taking the blue collar jobs? It's all about who's qualified to be in that position. It's not about, I should get this certain privilege because I have this background, or, where, my family comes from this part of the work, the United States, and has these connections. It should be totally legitimately based on qualifications of the job title. That's what I believe. But as we see, things keep getting darker and darker. And if you don't believe me about the birthright citizenship, and if you don't believe me about the case about the man that got deported to El Salvador, all you got to do is look it up. Google is your friend. But with that, you guys, I'm going to leave it right here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I am totally up to have a friendly and fair debate with anyone. Just bring your facts. Even if your facts is Google, bring your facts, because that's exactly what I'm going to bring. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And with that, you guys, I will get with you in the next one. But always remember, be good to yourself first.